will do the similar thing on the other side of the map, just not quite as far.
Well, off to the races we head. Talon against Secret. Talon looking for these wins. And KP half health. Zayats and Poppy doing a good amount of damage to him and chasing him all the way across, back down towards bottom. Is this a tri-lane from Secret? Or is Zayats just going to try and TP? Oh, he's zoning out Q. Good amount of damage on the Clockwerk now too.
Yeah, don't think you want to leave Brood alone. Brood will lose this lane pretty horribly, and yeah, Tuss TP's top. Like, Jakiro alone is just going to ruin Brood's life if it's... And Lone Druid will get out of free farm, so... Lanes will stabilize as Q continues to get bullied by Puppy's Bane. Force out an early salve here. You don't want to give Bloodseeker too much free damage, because as a result, KP's getting zoned away from this bottom lane. That free thirst, problematic.
Yeah, very speedy on this Bloodseeker, chasing KP back. And Q, that was a fight that he thought he could win with Battery Assault, but Brain Sap, yeah, there we go. Always the strongest hero in these 1v1 trades. Now he's under a dire creep wave, though, taking a significant amount more damage.
He wanted to stop the neutral camp spawning, but paid a pretty healthy price of his health pool to do so. His next Battery Assault coming up soon, and he's just going to try and stay on Puppy and give KP this kind of 1v1, but Crystal is just bullying KP so far. Anytime KP comes up to the lane, he's just being right-clicked down, and Bloodseeker getting all these denies as well, or a couple of denies on range creeps, and an easy lane for KP.
Yeah, usually it's the honest regen trade, you tango for tango, salve for salve, but with that early damage that the two supports of Secret got onto the Lycan and Clockwerk, they were at a disadvantage from the get-go. Crystal exploiting this fact with spamming out the Blood Right and getting the chases onto them. But a bit of calm here, it looks like, as the Radiant Wave will get in on top of the Dire Tier 1. Gives a bit of room for Puppy to pull. We can take a peek into some of these other lanes. Lina against Lesh. Nisha versus Mikoto. Getting into their bottles as quickly as they can.
Yeah, pretty, I think, interesting, fun mid lane. Like, all comes down to some of these skill shot spells. Mikoto's always going to be trying to land those split earths when Lina goes for last hits, but always comes down to, can you sidestep these spells and not get hit by the split earth as far as winning this mid.
Yeah, then up at top, they've secured a bit of XP here for the Broodmother to close in on level 3. Zayats very often is out of XP range, hits level 2 now. I'll wait to see what his skills up. He'll be just maintaining that lane for resolution. Try and deward, block up some camps, make sure that Hyde and 23 Savage don't get the complete free farm on this Lone Druid, who is always looking for that first item timing. Get the Mask of Madness, get the Deso, it's all clicking into place for Savage.
Before that comes online, there's, not a whole lot they can really do to give Rezo a tough time on his Brood in this lane, so will be the snowball at level 2. Naiats, they catch Hyde out of position, could see a Brood rotate on over, but Brood isn't even going for any points in the Silken Bolus load, just wants the sustain from the web and the hunger. Looks like this lane is mostly going to be a bit of a farm trinket.
Yeah, looks like it. I'm going to favor Savage. 7 denies up already. Well, Crystallis continues his domination in that bottom lane. Yeah, battling inside the cogs. Puppy getting pushed back. The Wolves are chasing, but Brain Sap, even just at level 1, is enough to withstand the bit of damage is coming his way. And Crystallis chasing with a Thirst and the Blood Right to get first blood on Q.
First blood.
Great recognition. He can rotate over and using this Thirst movement speed to make all these extra little moves and give KP a little bit of freedom to farm freely under his lane, but at first blood gold going the way of Bloodseeker is going to be really nice for his game.
He's going to be so quickly into the phase of the Maelstrom. That's another way to deal with the summons of the Lycan. Try and handle that Spirit Bear.
Gets the bottle refill mid.
Yeah. Makoto very thankful for it. A decent observer ward there placed by Q as well. Going to be watching for the moves in towards mid lane around the 6-minute mark when we look for those active runes. Both Lina and Lesh offer a lot of damage once they hit level 6.
The point where heroes like Clockwerk and Bane are going to be looking to make those rotations towards mid. Mid laners you typically want to give these power runes to.
27-5 on this Lina. Starting to get the upper hand now. Falcon Blade, first item for Nisha. No surprises there. Has become the primary item for these Linas in the mid lane. While Hyde up at top, having a bit of a scrap with Zayat. He's got the block there, and the ice shards as well to get him out. Doesn't have a TP or anything, though. Just tangos to rely on. It looks like he wants to place an observer ward somewhere as well.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, how deep does he want to go? I mean, Jakiro knows he's going to ward, but there's just so many different places he can place it. I think the key is here for Zayat's not putting it in an obvious place that gets dewarded, gets a nice little jungle ground ward, something that's unlikely to be found, and also finds a courier. Okay. Find Makoto's courier.
Fortune favoring the bold there, walking all the way across. Boots gone. And looking for this kill on Makoto now, 20 seconds before Rune spawns. This is the move that Zayat has been wanting to make. He was here ready in position, but with the battery assault wearing off, Zayat and Nisha put a little bit of damage on him, but I'll come to a close.
Bait out some of those tough spells, which will, you know, he's a bit low on mana with this 6-minute rune, but in position to secure the bottom rune, and top rune will be Talon favored, so they get charged forward. They go for the kill on Nisha here, but Makoto's out of mana.
Yeah, everyone's out of mana. No one's got any spells left to give. Mango give it to Zayat, and the Laguna Blade looking for the finish onto the Leshrac, but he gets the kill on Lina first. Now with the Ice Path, holding on to Puppy. Q and Hyde with the cogs pushed back, trapping Zayat inside, but lacking damage at this point. Just a dual breath, and maybe another liquid fire here. Second from Hyde. He's trying to kill off the Tusk. Zayat so close to death. Under the tower with the tag team and a bit of damage from the Brain Sap. Puppy, one more hit. Oh, it does the trick.
Absolute blood there in that mid lane. That's it's so funny. Like they rotate everyone to try and secure the rune. In the end, it's just a Puppy Bane picking up the rune for nothing. But everybody dying as a result of power runes. Rupture down bottom. They go for the kill on KP. He's got a TP, but he can't go for it because Tusk is in the neighborhood, and it seems like KP knew it. He just accepts his fate.
Just stand there and die. And Crystal is hitting that level 6. A nice time, and they had to kill off the Lycan. Now both these secret supports out on the map again. Such a threat. This nightmare, the snowball, tons of setup, no matter what lane they go into. But this ward that was placed by Q is going to see everything coming now.
Radiant's middle tower
into the jungle here. Play around that Leshrac.
Yeah, enough time bought by Zayat. And Hyde hit by the Light Strike array. 2 kills going to go the way of Secret, as it was Talon trying to make this play to open up the mid-tier 1. They had the vision, but Secret had the numbers, the positioning.
Just one nightmare. They just nightmared Lesh, and then suddenly these supports are like getting bursted down, and they're like, oh, Leshrac, you can help us, but it's not a play they can make. They are rotating down bottom for Chrysalis here. No level 6, no shapeshift, so it doesn't look like Q's going to be able to really set up any kind of a gank here, and he's actually the one getting zoned out on this bottom lane. They have to respect that rupture now with a javelin plus phase boots. Chrysalis' Bloodseeker is getting ridiculously farms.
Monstrous, really monstrous. We'll see if he decides to go BKB before finishing off the full Mjolnir. There's also, you know, his Aghanim Shard is a big item this game against Lycan and Lone Druid. I feel like we've, at least I say we, using the royal we. I've not looked top in a good 5 minutes. What's happening with Rezo? Is he fine?
Yeah, he's getting some decent farm. He's hit level 6 now. Lone Druid has been free farming though. 4k net worth on Lone Druid, so matching up with the Lina. Only a little bit behind the Bloodseeker. Considering Bloodseeker got first blood, basically means like they've been farming evenly. Problem is Lone Druid can't stick around now that Brute sits.
KP, shapeshifting mid, getting on top of Nisha, but the cogs keeping KP out of there, trapping Nisha inside. Makoto will get the damage they needed. A big kill on the Lina as they transfer all of this effort into the mid-tier 1.
This is cool. They rotate the Lycan to the mid lane, and they actually send Lone Druid bottom. You don't want to play 5 heroes in one lane. You still want to play both mid and bottom. But Lone Druid, unable to play against the Brood, says, okay, Brood's going to take top lane, top jungle, and probably top tower. I need to do the same thing bottom. So if you're Secret, you're seeing this Lone Druid bottom. You know they just made a move mid. You probably want to gun for Lone Druid here.
I don't know how Puppy does it. He's just a pos 5 Bane, walks up, denies the tower in front of, you know, a Lesh, a Lycan, even a Jakiro with all the tower push he's got from his level 1 liquid fire.
tied to the
The secret is this bear does not have Mask of Madness yet, so he can't really push the tempo down bottom as fast as the Brood is. We get this top tier 1 tower very quick.
Yeah, just allowing creeps to push naturally. Clears out the wave and can come back for it. Secret readying themselves for a defense of the bottom tier 1 though. Bane and Tusk coming down here. Just with some ice shards and keeping this creep wave away. Looks like Talon are going to have to really push the limits of their draft and bring everybody down to shove this tower.
Just Chrysalis summons.
Seeker's in from the back though, has vision over onto Hyde, trying to focus down and solo the Jakiro, and it looks like he's quickly done it. The Maelstrom strike at the very end while Puppey is being pummeled by the bear. So 23 Savage does get the trade, but this is Secret defending their objective for now.
Touch upon Talon not having a Brood answer in terms of good AoE reliable clear. It's a similar story with Secret. You've got Level 1 Bloodright, you've got Lina Dragon Slave, but this push with the bear plus the Helm Creep and the Wolves is just unstoppable. Even with the kill and the initiation from Secret, they still have to just let this tower go. But they're still at least getting some kind of a trade. They're getting the top lane. The Brood is going to freely farm this top jungle and really accelerate from here.
And Makoto trying to get on top of these spiderlings, but resolution, he just microing them away.
Good luck with that. As long as it's just Brood, Makoto can play top lane. He's not likely going to be able to kill any spiders because Rezo's just going to play away from him. But the key thing is, if any kind of support rotation goes top to the Brood, that's where Makoto's in trouble. So he needs to be a little bit careful about sticking around this top lane.
Now, Talon's Bulldozer for Q. The Tumbler's Toy from Zayat, forcing the misplaced hook. And this Bulldozer from Talon, it was starting on that tier 2 bottom, and it does force the glyph pretty early on here from Secret. We'll see if they continue with their efforts down here.
Even without the Leshrac, they know at worst it's a 4v4 because Brood is just not a hero who TP rotates. Brood is pretty much camped down this top lane, so they're willing to take their chances for the 4v4 fight here. Shift is up with the Helm Creep.
I mean, the summons, they scouted out Zayat, but he's come back in with a grip from Puppey. Killing that Clockwerk means no more teamfight initiation, no more brawl on the front lines from Talon and the Shards. They're trapped in Savage, focusing the bear with a Nightmare. Gonna go for the rupture on the hero itself and maybe kill off both. Snowball across onto the Jakiro. Zayat, he'll chase down the Lone Druid, and Chrysalis grabs the double kill. The shapeshift is used to sprint away as KP. He's left his high Jakiro to die. Attempts the TP, but there's a Walrus Punch from Zayat to stop him in his tracks. And Team Secret, just the right amount of heroes to come down here and make sure that a push of Talon is quelled.
Yeah, it was very calculated from Talon to be like, okay, we're fine down here. Brood can't rotate, but they just got outplayed and maneuvered. We'll see if we can get a replay up in just a second, but the initiation there, just taking the Clockwerk out, he didn't have the hook shot, but then most importantly, those ice shots locking the Lone Druid in the trees. What a beautiful shards from Zayat. I'm not sure if it's entirely intended. There was definitely some intent to catch the Lone Druid, but completely surrounding him against a wall just ended that team fight for Talon.
All right, now you know Savage has got to resummon the bear, so maybe if Secret are able to smoke out this bottom jungle and go hunt the Lone Druid, you shut him down for another couple of minutes.
Tower is under attack.
Their move, though, is to look for the tier 1 mid. Much more simple.
Yep. I love it. I mean, it goes back like what we saw there, kind of what we mentioned in the draft. Leshrac Makoto, you didn't pick this hero and you don't want to just be playing top lane and dealing with a Brood, but he kind of feels like he has to, and as a result, as a Bloodstone farmed up Leshrac, he wasn't there to join his team for a key team fight. Everybody kind of has to address the Brood lane, and when it's one of your strongest heroes, it's just not really ideal for Talon's game plan.
Yeah, especially when we think about, physical damage versus magical damage and scaling into the game. This is early game, pre-20 minutes, pre-BKBs in particular. You want this magical damage to be utilized to the fullest, and that's not what you get when he's killing spiderlings. He wants to be killing heroes. Pretty shortly.
We'll trade tier 2s. They decide the fighting is over. But it's Secret who have a 4k gold lead off of all this.
Yeah, I mean, pretty shortly they're going to have BKBs up. Chrysalis is, 700 gold away. Nisha, 1,000 gold away. And come 16 minutes, we'll have double BKB cores for Team Secret. And then Makoto, even more struggles to output damage.
They'll be entirely relying on this lone druid, and you can easily defend these objectives that Talon are thinking, okay, you know, we're going to have this Mask of Madness, Desert Bear, and just barrel down some lanes with a Lycan, but BKB Secret can force those fights.
I'm wondering if KP, after this Helm of the Overlord, goes for the Ags to try and maybe shapeshift the bear.
Kind of like the idea of it. We've seen it before from some of the other teams here in the group stage, and it very potent combo. Look up from Talon, they want to connect here. Any kind of kill could lead into Roshan.
Zayat, who's going to be the hero they find. Snowball delays his inevitable demise. And Talon straight into the Roche pit.
Okay. This is definitely part of the game plan for them. Being this far behind in gold maybe wasn't, but they've still an opportunity to kind of hit this Aegis high ground push timing here. Contest from the side of Team Secret. It looks like they're just going to give this one up.
Radiant's courier
and worry about defending their buildings rather than contesting a Roshan this early on.
Yeah, so how much brute force do we need from Talon right now? With this push draft, are they on a timer? Is there something they're worried about going into late game? Or is this going to be a farming Aegis or a hardcore push every tower Aegis?
I think they're absolutely on a timer. They need to push everything, all these outer towers, maybe even start considering, like with Deso, I think you're considering high ground push with this first Aegis, just because we're going to get to this point. This Spirit Bearer is going to get kited horribly. Like, I don't think you can rely on this Spirit Bearer at all to do anything once you get past 30 minutes with like all the annoying spells it's up against. Ice Shard, Snowball, the tag team, the Nightmare, the grip potentially.
Rupture
like
the bear.
Yeah, it may come to that. And heroes like Lycan aren't really scaling with you know, the Helm of the Overlord. Leshrac can scale. Again, that's kind of some pretty good link in there, but I think for Talon, yeah, let's get every outer tower and maybe even consider a high ground push with this, even first Aegis.
Yeah, Diggy Bear takes down the tier 1 up at top. Secret gonna go for the mirror movement. Nisha down at bottom has his BKB and has boots of travel, so at the drop of a hat could join up top. And it looks like Broodmother's cutting in behind the top lane push.
It's nice. Yeah, with the glyph, they get to clear the creep wave. They force out a dire glyph just to keep the creep wave alive. Do Talon push forward and go for... you can't go high ground because the glyph resets. Oh, no, it doesn't reset. They've already taken a tier 2 tower, so...
top tower has
see what the call's going to be. I don't think they're really... It's a high ground play. I think they'd rather just... slow things down a bit, and yeah, they smoke up. They're on the hunt now.
Right, look for some pickoffs. Try and maintain these other lanes. And mid is crashing onto your tier 2. Down at bottom, same story. While Secret, they've planted wards. They're guarding these ancients on the dire side of the map. But Zayat's in a good position here to spot the smoke.
Scouted.
Tumbler's toy.
The wolf has scouted them. They see Puppy, they see Chrysalis.
Oh, you're right. They're pinging it out. Know exactly where the Bloodseeker and the Bane are. And Q, he's angling for this initiation. Needs to make sure he lands the hook shot onto the Bloodseeker. And there we go with Makoto's move. On towards Chrysalis and Puppy they go. Huge burst of damage here onto Team Secret. As Talon have got to go back and push these lanes out, but this is another opportunity to think about tier 2 mid and, like you said, maybe even high ground again.
They've got the Desert now. They didn't have that for that top lane, and the Glyph is also on cooldown, so potential opening for the Talon side. This is, we always talk about the vision, and it's not just in the form of wards. In that situation, it was Rocket Flare and Lycan Wolves just scouting all these heroes out, tracking their movement through the trees. Usually it's like, you want to avoid a fight, you're just split pushing the map, you play around, you know, the fog, you play around the trees, you push out a wave, but never know when you're being scouted there. And unfortunately with the Clockwerk in the game, like Bloodseeker doesn't go for BKB TP because he can't. You're going to get hookshotted if you do. He just has to TP and hope for the best.
I'm curious to know what Team Secret are saying in their comms though. I saw a lot of pings on this top tier 3.
Okay.
Maybe they're saying, hey, if they go for the tier 2 mid, we've got this Brood Lina to just shove hardcore and force them back again.
Radiant's middle tower.
Not a bad option, I think. At the same time, I think Talon pushed so much faster, and it does look like Brood is going to TP back 4 or 5.
Yeah, she sends Spirelings top to push in, but the split up landing on Zayat. Move in with Makoto, but a snowball is going to turn back onto the ancient creep they've got. 23 Savage losing his bear as well. Needs to resummon.
Problematic, yeah.
And they are losing a little bit of HP on that top tier 3. Secret getting the much better hand of this trade.
All this time here, a minute 20 on the Aegis. Leshrac TP blinks in to kill Zayat. Nice little find here. They've lost their creep wave though.
Radiant's middle
Get the tier 2 tower, but Okay, they can swing bottom. This creep wave bottom could open up the high ground for them, and with a minute left, that's enough time to actually pressure this lane.
This is their
Tier
window.
3 tower without glyph, yeah.
Radiant's
This is their chance, Talon.
under attack.
Level 4 diabolic edict. Towers fall quickly. No glyph here for Secret. The lone druid's going to be wary of his bear though, as he gets clipped by the light striker and ruptured as well. Hook shot from Q though, getting onto Nisha, trying to focus the Lina, but she's got a BKB up. Turns and fights in a savage and blows up the lone druid. Q trapped behind enemy lines, and the resistance from Secret here is enough to withstand the push.
Just forcing a little bit too hard, and Secret want to chase and get some more hide. TP just barely gets out of there. The age is there, and that's the problem with having just the one bear. Once he loses that bear, he can't. He has nothing to really contribute to a fight, and the Lina just saps him down. Secret have done a really good job just delaying this push and buying themselves some time. They're up 3k gold 20 minutes in, and basically I feel like this entire game is going to come down to what Talon can do around maybe Roche number 2, but by the time they get Roche number 2, it may be too late.
It felt like that was their main avenue towards victory, but I've still got a couple more chances. Still scaling decently on this Lesh and Blown
Dire's
Druid.
middle tower
Once they get the Basher, they've got the chance there to kill off Nisha or Crystallis during the BKBs. Team Secret up towards top. They've got the outpost. They've got a bit of chip damage on that tier 3 thanks to Broodmother's Spiderlings, and Resolution can go back to work.
Feels like we're already at this point. I mentioned like 30 minutes plus, like the bear is going to feel not very effective. I think it's come sooner. You've got a Lina with Falcon Blade, Crystallis, and like combine that with like the Silken Bowler from the Brood, the Bloodseeker Rupture. Like this Spirit Bear is just melting in these fights.
Yeah, we weren't joking about rupturing the bear and stuff like that. It's such a high value target. And nice to see Bloodseeker has a shard already as well, so percentage-based damage. Pure damage going to come out onto the side of Talon, and he gets the opportunity.
Talon, they shove the bottom lane and then they go for a smoke. They're not looking to brute force this bottom lane. We kind of saw what happens there and what the outcome might be. So they're going to look to sweep through top and try and find this Brood. Problem is, it's Rezo, and this man, he's played at a TI or 2 and knows when it's time for him to vacate this top lane and get back to safety.
And the rest of Secret, they're smoking to connect with him. Nisha shows on the mid wave under a dire observer ward or 2, but the remaining members of Secret here, we know how good Puppy and Zayat are at setting up team fights for the rest of their squad. If they catch a glimpse of anyone from Talon, they're pretty much dead.
Talon really want to fight right now. They're close to a couple of key items, most notably this Makoto BKB on Leshrac. Clockwerk also getting pretty close to an Aghanim Scepter, so really is not an ideal time to take another engagement. They want to finish these items up before next Roshan. What they are doing though is split pushing bottom. They've left KP down. They just keep sending summons and applying pressure. That's going to force a TP back from the Brood, so good maneuvering on the mound around from Talon, and then as soon as he sees a TP, he gets out of there, and he may look to join up with his team to try and take the fight.
And we start to get into the rhythm of that dance of death. The standoff around Roshan is about to begin. 40 seconds until that fast spawn, and it's something Talon desperately need to keep their chances of survival alive.
Dire are scanning.
Desperately trying to give farm to Makoto to finish this BKB before that Roshan fight. Crystallis on Bloodseeker has completed his Mjolnir now, so he's got his key item, the upcoming fight, and Lina has a Daedalus, so a lot of right-click damage coming out from this Lina, and that's like the perfect way of dealing with this Spirit Bear. Not just the Spirit Bear, but the Leshrac as well. Like, trying to get on top of this Lina is just going to be so damn tricky.
Crystallis bypassing that dire ward. 2 minutes for Roche, but Secret are smoked. Talon have Q and KP on the front lines. They're immediately scouted, and onto the Clockwerk they head, blowing it up with Nisha's damage. Moving forward here, Broodmother scouted out the Jakiro as well. Need a stun to stop the TP, but it won't come in time. Poppy lifted his arms, but didn't get the Nightmare or the grip.
Here, outcome for Talon, just losing his support and disengaging. They didn't want to fight. Kodo's got BKB now. Blink Dagger, if he can find a way to get onto that backlines, and really he just wants to kill the supports, I feel, more than anything. He doesn't do damage against the BKBs. Broodmother's not an ideal target. Taking out the Tusk and the Bane is going to be probably the most impactful thing you can do in these fights.
high ground ward attempted to be taken out. Okay, Nisha finally gets it done, and a trap hide and some shards for now.
Radiant's
And
bottom
song and
barracks
dance
are
of this bottom lane split push. The Lycan sending in creeps just to force Secret to continue to TP back and defend this lane.
Oh, nice
Nisha
Savage.
has got boots of travel for this though.
Savage roll from 23. Savage gets away from the Nightmare. On to Zayat. And Roshan, 40 seconds away. It'll coincide with the respawn of the Tusk. Now it's down to Rezo trying to get back to cutting waves, slowing down any form of push, play around his own vision up top. But I think you're absolutely right. KP has just sat bottom for the past 3 minutes or so, shoving in over and over again.
It's a simple game plan. It's a very effective one that doesn't really have like an obvious counter. You just keep split pushing bottom, and the second somebody TPs to defend, you initiate top around the Roshan thing. Even if it's just killing a support, it could open up a free Roshan for you. So we're going to see probably this Lycan just keep sending his summons down bottom, and anytime they see somebody TP there, it's go time. But I think what Secret need to do is have Nisha pushing out this lane while still having his boots of travel available. If he's TPing bottom to defend, it means TP's on cooldown. You need to be TPing to join your
Radiant's
team.
top tower is
Well,
under
TP's back to clear out top wave because they know that Roshan is imminent. Secret. One of the struggles they have is the fact that Rezo is on a Brood and not a teamfight starter, so a little awkward to get Broodmother involved in these fights. Very good at scouting, and you see the swarm of Spiderlings coming in from behind Talon from that northern side of the map, giving vision into the pit, and seeing the movement of the Dire team.
Rupture comes out.
Catching out KP.
Walked right into that Rupture and just got annihilated. Don't have the best Roche taking lineup, so if you're Talon, maybe you can just think about disengaging and not forcing a fight, like just playing under your vision. Problem is, these summons, the Spiderlings, so good at scouting out these high ground cliffs and figuring out where enemies are.
Yeah, the fact that Nisha knows exactly where Dire team are, he's just mid lane pushing tier 2.
Bottom lane again, though, it's the split push. I think that's why he walked into them. He was probably too busy microing his helm creep, and he's going to take a range Rex here. They forced the Lina TP. Again, this is the play. You force Lina's TP, and now you try and initiate.
Nightmare transfer. Jakiro trying to keep Makoto in play. Q angling for it, but the turnaround play. Secret going to blow up the Leshrac here. They got the chain disabled. Now Broodmother with the Spiderlings scouting out Hyde and Q. They're on the run, but Secret charging back in towards them. Get the blood right and silence up the clock. The Nightmare to stop any retreat. Rezo surrounds him while Crystal is focusing onto the bear. They want the bigger targets. 23 Savage trapped inside the shards. Oh, the Spirit Bear is on the run and the hero is finished off. Crystal finds the takedown, and Talon, they're running out of gas now. 4 kills for Secret. They won't even lose the Bane.
There's always, you know, I talk up Secret and the way they play. Oh, you know, they play around Nisha. He's their mid carry. He's not even in this fight. This is Crystal is something. I carry games too. Like, as soon as the idea there from Talon is right, the execution though is just too good from Secret. They don't give Clockwerk an avenue to get a hook shot off. There was all these summons, the spiders, even his own teammate Spirit Bear was kind of blocking his hook shot. The Leshrac runs in thinking there's a Clockwerk behind him to back him up and follow up his initiation, but in the end, it's Makoto just completely stranded on an island, getting walrus punched and burst down by a Bloodseeker. And unfortunately for Talon, yeah, I think the concept, the strategy there is perfect. The execution is what was off.
Yeah, that range racks, it feels like it means nothing now. We've got a DD Aegis Lina ready for this next fight. I'm going to take down the Ancient Creep. Oh, no, they're not. KP grabs a tiny hill troll priest to make sure they don't get that bounty from the Ice Shaman down at bottom. Talon always having to fall back and deal with the Broodmother at this point. Resolution planting himself top, and another army of spiders built up. It's always amazing to see these Brood players, the micro they've got. You know, it's like 20 Spiderlings all in different places.
The mini map is, yeah, where you can really see the skills come in. I mean, every Brood player has had to kind of learn this and get good at this. It's such a key part of Dota these days, but it's just such an impactful thing to do, to have full info on the map of where your opponents are. And it's such a huge part, I think, of why Brood has come back into the meta.
Yeah, it's littered with orange dots.
Double damage.
Nisha. And pops the DD, returns back to base. Looks like he's going to have to shove out that bottom lane one more time. Maybe play into the last remnants of this observable they've got on the high ground. Poppy and Zayat, they are smoking down here, maybe hunting for KP's Lycan.
Kind of caught onto this, you know, I mean, they've known he's been doing this for a while, but this is one way you can kind of respond to the split pushes. Flush the Lycan out of this bottom lane.
For the twin.
His Korea maybe gives up his position, but he's already TP'd out. Yeah, Nisha looks for him, but doesn't find.
Yeah, good attempt. Trying to sniff out the rat here. That's a secret. They're up front. Razzo cutting mid-wave. Chrysalis and Puppy into the ancient spot. And Talon, the ones who are meant to have the momentum here, meant to be the ones that are pushing objectives. They're on the back foot. That doesn't bode well when they have a severe lack of team fight and AoE to really battle around these choke point spots.
It's like they're going to be all in on like this Leshrac late game. He's the one getting all the farm, but playing into BKB is there's only going to be so much Makoto can do. Spirit Bear of 23 Savage is just food in these fights. I don't even think they need to rupture it anymore. It's just too easy for this lane. It's just a one LSA and the Spirit Bear is probably 2/3 dead.
We've got to the point in the game now where Talon, after the kind of 100-meter sprint, they're turning into more of a marathon, and their legs weren't built for this kind of extended pressure they're under.
In the split push game, KP swung his attention from bot lane to top. This is how they slow down and deal with Secret. I think considering, I mean, both Lycan and Lone Druid are pretty underfarmed here. The idea of kind of split pushing and stalling this game now is probably the best thing Talon can do. Like, they missed their time. The way they wanted this game to go didn't work. Plan B is try and go 45, 50, 60 minutes and get enough farm so that you can actually, you know, impact the game with an Aghanim Scepter on Lycan. Lone Druid probably needs an Abyssal Blade, maybe even a BKB on his Spirit Bear. There's just so many items they're going to need for late game Dota now that they want this game to slow down.
Yeah, try and get 12 slotted on your Lone Druid. Look towards those tier 4 neutral items in about 5 minutes time. The Team Secret are knocking on the door. They're in front of your base. And Nisha, with 1 minute left on Aegis, he's going to go up and do a good amount of damage onto the tier 3. Top lane's being pushed in as well. Zayat is cutting wave there, so they've got multiple angles of attack for Secret. Scything up the bear for now. And Nisha getting clipped by a couple of stuns, but I don't think he's too bothered with Aegis and BKB in hand. Lycan.
Suggesting he wants to engage, trying to maybe find the backlines. He doesn't really want the Brood. He's looking ideally for the Bane. Bane has just a 4-stop in terms of defensive capabilities, but KP, I think, realizing he's not going to connect anyone. He's just running bottom to once again go back to split pushing.
Well, we saw Talon in game 1 do very well around this Aegis timer of killing off Nisha as it expired. But with your bear dropping half HP just with one go from the Bloodseeker, scary times ahead for them. Nisha, 10 seconds remaining.
There'll be another Talon play around the Aegis expiring. And Secret have got to be thinking about what happened last game when they weren't ready for Talon, and they're going to choose to back off and play things safe. I mean, I say Talon's best bet is stalling this game out. It still heavily favors Secret. Their draft late game has all the answers they need for the Spirit Bear. I don't really feel like the wolf bite on the bear is going to solve your problems. Especially, I mean, you're wolf biting a bear, and you're definitely rupturing it, so not an easy situation to be in for Talon.
These Aghanim's rocket flares are definitely annoying, though. They're pushing out bottom wave, scouting out Secret's movements. Knowing where Nisha is gives a little more safety in that top portion of the map for Talon. I'll keep on farming on this Lone Druid with 3,000 saved up. He wants Ags, but maybe also thinking about buybacks here for Talon as this inevitable push from Secret. Just keeps coming back towards the Dire base. A DD rune has spawned top as well. If Secret gets some vision over that, a huge amount of damage from either Chrysalis or the Lina.
The issue when you've given up all this map control, you know Secret can get all these high impact runes. It's going to be very tricky to get out on the map to contest potential next Roshan, which comes with an Ag Scepter or a Refresher Shard. And a 6-load Lina headed towards the late game and looking at potential level 25 coming up in the next 5 or so minutes as well is a scary, scary thought.
Yeah, boot to travel onto a spider, jump forward in from Chrysalis, finding KP with the bash as well. Take him out of the fight as Nisha looking for the bear and kills it off immediately. Puppy stunned up, but Nisha opens up with his BKB. Makoto doesn't stand a chance in hell. 2 calls down from Talon and Hyde left stranded. Just a few hits from Nisha's Lina. An easy triple kill with his double damage rune. Annihilating 3 heroes and a bear.
I think you press forward. You want to go for the killing blow here. You know there's only one Spirit Bear, so Secret, there's no reason to kind of stick around and play passively here with the double damage still up as well.
Dire's structures
Should be
are fortified.
plenty of damage to get. Could be multiple lanes of racks here.
I'm not sure about this glyph. Chrysalis diving onto Hyde, and that's diving back on the Jakiro. It's tier 4 time, it looks like, for Nisha. Says, screw the barracks, I'm going for the jugular. Finish off the tier 4 towers and open up this ancient because there is no glyph from the Dire team. They've already spent it. Q's in there with a 2-man hook shot. Trying to push them back with the cogs into Savage with his lone druid bear. But the snowball save is there from Zayas. Buys the time for Nisha to come back into the fight. Maybe gonna get dropped though still. But look at this damage from Nisha, destroying them all. The buyback from the lone druid will come, but it's all too little too late. Talon have lost their Lesh, and Team Secret have 5 heroes alive, forcing the GG.
Always sad when you're buying back as a lone druid and you're like, oh wait, I have no Spirit Bear. I'm just gonna creep. That's buying back there in Secret. Very well executed.